Hey, well, hopefully you're still with me. Welcome to lesson 1.2, understanding the fundamentals. So a lot of times people are talking about, oh, they got this many watts, or they need this many watt hours, or this module produces this much current and it has this much voltage. What does it all mean? This is the actual fundamentals of everything that is done in solar. Everything. As a matter of fact, someone said to me, Emmitt, how do you solve problems so quickly? And I really told them, I use this formula that is based off of Watt's law or Ohm's law to solve problems because it all stems around the flow of this energy. These formula and these terms dictate this. So you're probably like, Emmitt, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Well, it's really kind of simple. Boom. So we understand that the building blocks of this is voltage. So you know about voltage. You get voltage and it comes in two different types that we said before. There's AC voltage and there's DC voltage, like the rock group, AC/DC. Those are two different types of voltages. Well, voltage is electric pressure, that pushes electrons through the pipe. Now, when it comes to current or amperage, it's the flow, it's the water going through, the amount that's going through the pipe. Now, when it comes to watts, that's kind of a combination of volts times amperage. So you get the pressure times the flow gives you the watts. And this is how we calculate how much work is being done. And what we do is once we find out the watts and we can multiply that by time, you get watt hours. So the total amount of energy for watt hours is the energy that is consumed or produced over time. Energy equals watts times hours. So let's go back. So we know we have voltage, we know we have amperage, we know we have pressure, we know we have flow. Then we have that combination of those, which is watts, which is power equals voltage times current. And then you say, how does watt hours even make any sense? I want you to think about this. Go get your electric bill, or if you live with your parents, go get their electric bill. They charge you in watt hours. They charge you in the amount of energy you use over a specific time. So now you understand those, you're like, okay, how does this come into play? Let's say your television. You plug your television into a 120 volt plug. Well, it's just 120 volts. There's just a pressure sitting there. For it to actually turn on in the circuit, like we mentioned in the last time, the television is a big circuit. The electrons have to flow through and power everything up and give you your various voltages. Well, you need the current to flow through that TV, out of the wall, into the TV, wiggity wig, back into the wall. It's a big circuit. And that's where you get your power turning on. Now, let's say your system uses 100 watts, right? And you watch TV for 1 hour. Well, you have 100 watt hours. If it used only 1 watt to power the thing over an hour, you'd have 1 watt hour. See how that works out? It's over time. Now, let's say that 100 watt TV is on for 2 hours. What do you have? You have 200 watt hours because a TV is 100 watts over 2 hours equals 200 watt hours. It's not that hard once somebody breaks it down to you. So the greater the pressure, the more water will flow. The greater the voltage, the more electricity will flow because that pressure is bigger. Now, remember, voltage is the electrical push. Voltage is the pusher or the pressure that makes electricity move. The analogy, the height of the water tank determines the pressure at the bottom. So if it's only 2 inches off the ground, you don't get a lot of pressure. If it's 600 feet in the air, it's going to come rushing down and give you a lot of pressure. Current. Current is the amperage and the amount of electric charge that flows per second. They call this a coulomb, but we don't want to get all that deep into it. It's not that deep for us. It's directly analogous to the flow of water through the pipe, indicating how much water has passed through at any given time. So the definition: amount of electrical charge flowing per second. Analogy: the water flow rate through a pipe. So like when you turn on your faucet, you can either get a little bit out or a lot out. Now I want you to think about it like this. So you see your water spigot that comes out, you can turn it on, you can turn it on a little bit, and you can turn it on to its maximum. But that tube is a finite size. There's only so much pressure that can come through that from the city. Now, if we open up that tube and we kept it at the same rate, it would be like a trickle out. But if we put more pressure in it, if we made the water tower higher in the city, you get better pressure. Now remember, current is measured in amperes. So when you look at the back of your little power supply, wait a minute, I think I have one. Give me 1 second. Phone is back. I got my little charger here. It tells me how much power is rated for this. And if you look here, it literally tells you. It gives you the power rating. Every appliance typically has one of these stickers. It'll tell you what the volts and what the amps are rated at, so you can calculate how much power it actually uses. That's where we get to watts. Remember, watts is the quantifying instantaneous power, which the rate at which energy is consumed or generated at a given moment. Watts, quantifying instantaneous power, which is the rate at which energy is consumed or generated at any given moment. It is calculated using the formula. Remember I told you about those formulas? Volts times amps equals watts. So someone says to me, Emmitt, I have a solar system. It's not producing. I'll say, hey, can someone go measure the voltage there? Yeah, we're getting 500 volts, which is kind of a lot for residential. Okay, cool. All right, can you measure the current flowing through the system? Well, we don't have any. Well, that's a problem because you can't get any power without both of them. If one is missing, there's a problem. So you have to think about it like a water jet. Think of the power, the watts represents how forcefully and quickly the jet can perform the work right now, such as spinning a water wheel or something of that nature. That's how we used to produce energy, because most major cities, and if you go to Europe, they were on rivers, and a lot of them in the United States as well. They used the flow of the river to churn things and to produce wattage. Higher watts means more immediate work capacity. So watt hours, what's the definition? Watt hours is the quantifying the total energy consumed or generated over a specific duration. The formula equals, the calculation is this: watts times hours equals watt hours. When you get into the thousands of watt hours, so let's say we had 1,000 watt, that's when we get into the kilowatt hour. Think of this as the total volume of water that has flown from a tank over a given hour. I hope these analogies are making sense to you. If they're not, you can always say, Emmitt, I don't get it, and I will make it clearer. So the significance is essentially for tracking daily solar production or quantifying the energy usage of appliances. As I said, your electric bill is generally displayed in watt hours. That's how they bill you. How many watt hours did you use the power? How many hours did you use the wattage for your appliances? So when you put this all together, voltage, the electrical potential difference or push from the sun activated cells. Remember the cells, the sun hits the modules, current starts to flow, which produces a voltage. And then if the circuit is hooked up and complete, the flow of electrons generated by the photovoltaic effect will give you current flowing through a circuit. When you combine those two and you put it across something that's doing work, you get watts. If a circuit is not flowing, if you don't have both current and voltage, and that can be a situation, if a system is turned off, you're going to have voltage, but you won't have current. The instantaneous measure of power is watts for your panels are producing at any given time. Watt hours is the total energy generated by your panels over a period of time. So if you have a 1,000 watt inverter and the sun has been shining for 4 hours and then it cut off, it rose up, boop, all of a sudden you're doing 1,000 watts over 4 hours, you get 4 kilowatts or 4,000 watts. Now, why does this matter to you? It helps you to make informed decisions, understanding solar panel ratings and watts. If you ever look at a solar panel or an inverter, they all have a little sticker on them that will give you how much current, how much voltage, and how many watts they're rated at. Understanding this helps you to understand PV system sizing and help you to understand what should be expected. Understanding your bills. This helps you just in your own personal life, because now you can look at your bill and say, oh, I get it now. We've been watching a lot of Netflix and eating a lot of popcorn and having the heater on. You can compare options, evaluate different solar offers and energy production estimates effectively. Also, you can appreciate efficiency. Now you know how it works. Now you know that, hey, if I turn something on, current is going to flow, which means it's going to be using watt hours because I have voltage and I have current. And now you can see how this influences your various generation and overall efficiency. This also works with solar. If your solar is not turned on, you will not be producing any watt hours because the circuit is not complete. Quick recap. Here's the things that we talked about. Voltage equals push, current equals flow, watts equals power right now. Watt hours is watt hours. I stumbled over my words. Watt hours is the total energy over time. So it's really simple. Voltage push, current flow, power right now, watt hours, energy over time. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to Uncle M. E. Muckles. No. I gave you the wrong one. My bad. Emmitt at sepowerconsulting.com. Till next time or tomorrow. See you then.